Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Commanders during this offseason, you know that the team has been making some interesting moves. Some strategic decisions that are aimed at finally putting the franchise back on the path toward consistent playoff success. But as we all know, in the NFL, nothing is ever certain, especially when it comes to injuries and unforeseen setbacks. And right now, the biggest concern among fans and insiders alike is what's happening with Noah Brown. This guy, who was brought in last season and quickly became a fan favorite due to his energy and potential, has been caught in a whirlwind of bad luck that's raising some serious questions about his role in the team's plans for 2024 and beyond. It all started on the second day of the mandatory minicamp, a day that was supposed to be about team building, evaluating players, and getting everyone on the same page. But instead, it turned into a moment of collective concern as Noah Brown went down in a way that sent shockwaves through the entire facility. What initially looked like just another routine play quickly turned into a nightmare. Brown, who's known for his physicality and aggressive style of play, caught a pass and then immediately hobbled off the field, throwing his helmet in frustration. The scene was tense, and those watching could tell something serious was happening. The medical staff rushed to his side, and the coaches, including head coach Dan Quinn, looked visibly worried. The initial reports from the scene indicated that Brown was in significant pain, and the decision was made to send him into the Washington training facility in Ashburn on a cart. That's never a good sign. When a player is carted off the field, especially after a play like that, it's usually because the injury could be severe. And watching Brown let out a scream of pain or frustration as he was taken in, well, that just added to the anxiety. Fans and teammates were holding their breath, wondering what the future held for a guy who had already dealt with some tough setbacks in recent years. You see, Noah Brown's story is one of resilience, but also one of bad luck. The wide receiver, who's physically imposing and known for making acrobatic catches, first made headlines with a miraculous Hail Mary catch to beat the Chicago Bears. That moment, a highlight reel classic, seemed to mark the beginning of a promising stint with the Commanders. But then, tragedy struck in the form of a serious internal injury that required kidney surgery last season, cutting his campaign short. That was a brutal blow, not just for Brown but for the team as well, because he had shown flashes of being a reliable target, especially in critical situations. Despite that, the organization showed faith in him by extending his contract for another year. That's a testament to the belief the team has in his talent and his potential to contribute, especially in a revamped receiver room that's been a focus for Washington this offseason. The Commanders didn't sit still during the draft or free agency, bringing in new weapons and depth to support quarterback Sam Howell, who's entering his second year as the starter after a promising rookie campaign. They added speed, route-running precision, and versatility, aiming to finally give Howell the offensive firepower he needs to take the next step. But now, with Brown's injury scare, all those plans are suddenly clouded with uncertainty. What makes this whole situation even more nerve-wracking is the fact that Brown is a player who could have been a key piece in the team's offensive puzzle. His ability to stretch the field and make contested catches was seen as a valuable asset, especially with the emerging chemistry between him and Howell. The coaching staff was expecting him to play an important role in the upcoming season, possibly even as a starting receiver, or at least as a vital part of the rotation. So when he went down during practice, it wasn't just a minor bump, it felt like a potential game changer. The team's medical evaluation process is ongoing, and that's where things stand right now. Head coach Dan Quinn, during his media availability after the minicamp wrapped up, clarified that Brown would undergo an MRI scan to determine the severity of whatever issue he's facing. Now, I want to pause here for a second because, as fans, we know how crucial these MRI results are. They can tell us whether it's a precautionary measure or something more serious, like a ligament tear, a fracture, or internal damage that might require surgery. And let's be honest, the timing couldn't be more nerve-wracking. Fans are anxiously awaiting news, hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. Quinn was cautious not to speculate about the injury's extent, which is understandable. In the NFL, details are often kept under wraps until the medical team has a clear picture. Still, the fact that Brown is scheduled for an MRI today, on Thursday, suggests that the team is taking no chances. Whether it's a precaution or something more serious, we know that the next few hours will be critical for Brown and for the Commanders' overall plans. If it turns out to be a minor issue, then perhaps he'll recover quickly and be back at full strength in time for training camp. But if it's something more significant, it could mean a longer recovery process, and that could impact not just his season, but also the team's overall offensive chemistry. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture here. The Commanders, coming off a season where they showed flashes of promise under Howell, have been striving to build a more explosive and consistent offense. They've made strategic moves in free agency, brought in new wide receivers, tight ends, and offensive linemen to support the young quarterback. The addition of players like Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and promising rookies adds to the depth and versatility of the unit. The coaching staff, led by Ron Rivera, has emphasized improvement, discipline, and resilience, knowing that in the NFC East, every game is a battle. But injuries like this, especially to a player with Brown's potential, can ripple through the entire team's mindset. It's not just about the X's and O's, it's about confidence, chemistry, and trust. The team needs players to step up and fill the void if Brown's injury turns out to be serious. That could mean more targets for younger receivers or a shift in the offensive scheme to adapt to the personnel available. It's a challenge, no doubt, but one that the Commanders are prepared to face. The NFC East, as many of you know, is arguably the most competitive division in the league. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants have all been aggressive in their own right, making the division a battleground every year. The Eagles, reigning champions, have a roster that's stacked with talent, especially on offense with Jalen Hurts leading a high-powered attack. The Cowboys, always tough and disciplined, have a solid defense and a balanced offense that can challenge anyone. The Giants, under new leadership and with a promising young quarterback, are eager to prove last season wasn't a fluke. So, any setback for a division rival, especially one as promising as the Commanders, could be a turning point in who emerges as the division champion in 2024. And we can't forget that last season was a significant step forward for Washington. They finished with a winning record, something that hadn't been consistent for years, and showed flashes of a resilient, competitive team under Ron Rivera's leadership. The defense was solid, the offense was starting to click, and the future looked bright, until, of course, setbacks like injuries threatened to derail that progress. The hope now is that Brown's injury isn't anything too severe, and that he'll be able to bounce back quickly. Because, let's face it, fans want to see the team at full strength, fighting for every yard and every victory. Looking ahead, the Commanders will be going into training camp with plenty of questions that need answering. Who will step up if Brown is sidelined? How will the team adjust if they need to reshuffle their receiver rotation? And most importantly, how will this impact the chemistry and confidence of the offense? We all know that football is a game of inches and moments, and sometimes, a single injury can change the course of a season. That's why the next few weeks will be crucial, not just for Noah Brown, but for the entire team's outlook. Fans should also keep an eye on the upcoming roster moves, training camp battles, and the potential emergence of new stars who might fill the void. Players like Jahan Dotson, who showed great promise last season, could see an increased role, or we might see some surprises from rookies who step up when needed. The coaching staff is known for their tactical flexibility, and they'll be working tirelessly to ensure the team remains competitive no matter what the injury report says. But at the end of the day, we all want to see Brown healthy and back on the field, making those incredible catches that remind us why we love this game. We know that the NFL is unpredictable, and injuries are part of the game, but the resilience of a team and the determination of its players often define the season. The Commanders, with their young core and ambitious coaching staff, have shown that they're ready to take the next step. Now, they just need to get through this hurdle, whatever it may be, and keep their eyes on the prize, returning to the playoffs, contending for a Super Bowl, and making the fans proud. In the end, this situation with Noah Brown is a reminder of how fragile but also how incredible this sport is. One moment, a player is making a highlight reel catch, and the next, they're fighting to recover from an injury that could sideline them for weeks or even months. But if history has taught us anything, it's that the true spirit of football lies in resilience, players bouncing back, teams rallying, and fans standing strong through every challenge. The Commanders have faced adversity before, and they've always come back stronger. So, as we await the final word on Brown's condition, let's stay united as fans, hopeful and determined that our team will overcome this obstacle and continue their journey toward greatness. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. Do you think Noah Brown will be back sooner than expected? Are you worried about the impact on the receiver corps? Or do you believe others will step up and fill the void? Whatever your thoughts are, share them with us because your voice is part of this journey. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more insights about the Washington Commanders. So stay tuned, keep the faith, and let's keep supporting our team through every twist and turn of this exciting season.